Mr. Hoos, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hey, Sam Vincent, how are you?
Hey, this is Steffen. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. I don't know if are you able to turn on your camera? We can't see you right now.
Just a sec.
Okay. Hey, how are you?
You see me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
fine.
we can.
Hey.
Well, we're excited about this. And so first, there's somebody who wanted to say hello real quick.
Hello. Hi. How you doing?
Good.
Ja. Super. Du musst jetzt nicht Englisch mit mir reden hier.
Ah, okay, alles klar.
Ja.
Ja, cool.
Hast du heute? Hatten die ein Rennen heute?
Ist in einer Stunde.
Okay. Perfekt.
Könnt ihr noch gucken, dann, wenn ihr wollt.
Ja?
Are we good?
Ja.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, we're really excited about this. We've spoken to a few different athletes and coaches throughout the year. And so I sent those questions that our kids are excited to ask you. If you're willing, can you maybe just spend a minute or two talking about your life and career, and then we'll let the kids take it away and ask you questions?
Yeah, sure. No problems.
All right.
Yes.
Well, you go ahead, tell a little bit about yourself, and then you won't see me much. It'll be the kids asking you questions.
Okay, is it already starting? So
Yep.
the kids are
Yeah,
in
so
the
we have
room,
about 50 kids here, and then they'll come up here and ask questions on the computer.
Okay, then I will go ahead.
Perfect.
Yes, hello everyone. This is Steffen Hoos. I'm the father of Nelly, and I'm happy that I get the opportunity to speak a little bit to you about my life, about my career, and what I have done like 30, 40 years ago. And I'm still working in this this environment that I have been growing up, and yeah, it is mainly driven by sport, and it has always been driven by sports. And yeah, when I was very young, like 8, 9, in my I grew up in Eastern Germany. The options were not very many, so I was a pretty active kid, and my surroundings were like like pretty active. I went to school. We had a school teacher that has encouraged me to participate in sports. I have been active, as I told. So I was pretty ambitious to go to training, do some workout, and so on. And then we had this special sport in our town that was biathlon. So it was pretty famous in my area, also where Nelly is living now together with us. And it's like it's a center for winter sports, and all kinds of winter sports is being developed there, like bobsleigh, luge, ski jumping, biathlon, cross country skiing, all kinds of. And yeah, it was a big center. And then when I grew older, I was actually, my motivation to continue with the sport was to go to the sports school. Then I qualified to be, when I was good enough, I qualified to go to sports school, attend sports school. That was when I was 12. So I went away from home when I was 12, 13. Then I went to school there. It was a 30 minutes drive from where I lived. And only came home in the weekends, and sometimes every second week. Yeah, then I grew older. I started to grow when I was 16, 17. That's when when your body starts to develop. With the boys, that's a bit later than with the girls. So I actually grew quite late, and then yeah, suddenly I jumped. My performance jumped quite much, and then suddenly I was on the national team. Suddenly I was competing in the junior world championships, and yeah, then it continued to be. Then I continued to be an Olympian finally in 1992. That was my surroundings. And as if you have more questions about, where the country I grew up in and so on, so just ask me the questions. And yeah, that was a small, how to say, recap from my life as an athlete.
All right. Perfect. That kind of set it up. So our kids, they'll introduce themselves, and then they have kind of what they sent. They have a lot of different questions they want to ask you. So I think we have a senior Jackson who wants to start it off, and then we'll just have the kids keep going from there if that works.
Hello, Mr. Hoos. My
Hello.
question was, what was your training like for the Olympics? Like from day to day, would you like train with skiing and then go shooting, or would you just do it all together?
There's different times throughout the year. The season normally ends by, I would say, end of March. When the snow is going away. Then you have a month off, and then the training normally starts 1st of May. And then we do all kinds of training. In the beginning, we do we call it basic training, like cycling, swimming, weightlifting, all kinds of general training. And then you start after a while, after 2-3 months, you start to train specific. Specific means in summer there's no snow. Then we train, or we have been training with the roller skis. That is it's similar to a ski, but with rolls back, in the front and in the end. Nelly can maybe show you some pictures. And then you train like you would have been training on skis. This is like you just roll on a special roll ski track, and then you start with the basic shooting. That means you don't shoot while you are skiing. You just lay down or stand, and then you shoot as much and precise as you can. That is, the magazines have 5 shots, and then you repeat these 5 shots all the time. And then you try to be as precise as possible. And in biathlon, when you shoot, normally you are, how to say, you're quite stressed. Your body is, when you get to the shooting range, your body has a pulse of 170, 180. And then you have to control this heart rate. And if the heart rate is too high, you cannot shoot. You won't hit. And then you should control your heart rate. And this is what we are training in summer, to really have control over your body. And then the closer you get to when the races are starting, you have qualification races. It starts in September. And then when the snow comes, you have to qualify for the national team. And then you train more specific. Then the snow is already there. Then you travel to where the snow is. Mainly, we are from mid-Europe. Mainly you travel to Scandinavia because there's colder, and then there's earlier snow. Yeah, this is how the season is built up.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Anybody want to go up next?
Sure.
Dude.
I ain't gonna ask that one yet, though. I'm gonna save that one. How you doing, Mr. Hoos?
Yes, good. Thank you.
Yeah, good, man. I'm reading these questions here. I have a question. If you weren't competing in the biathlon, what event would you want to compete in? Man, you better say something cool.
Yeah, it's a good question. You can ask Nelly. I'm still quite active in doing cycling. If I do some workout, I'd like to do cycling, like mountain biking, and in summer I got a new road bike. So it's myself. So I like to do that, and unfortunately I'm unable to run because of this is probably maybe a later question. If I have some injuries from doing professional sport, yes. Yeah, so I can't run. But I need to find some substitute sports, which is
What about that one event where they're on them bikes and it's like 4 people and they go in that circle and they like pass each other? What's it called? in the summer, you know, because you say you ride bikes. Like, have you ever tried that one where they like go up the ramp and they get?
This is on a oval. It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
you know, yeah, no, that's not
No, you
infamous.
never tried that.
It's
Yeah, that game is intense right there. But I appreciate you answering my question.
yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Go ahead, Lane Brian. Good question. Great question.
Hello, Mr. Hoos. My name's Landon. My
Hey.
question is, have you ever got any injuries from the biathlon?
I didn't get it. Can you repeat it, please?
Have you ever had any injuries?
Yes. Yes, I had. So one was I was crashing whilst then I broke a hand. I broke my leg once, and then I have some other injuries like injuries. When you do a lot of endurance. I'm 56 years old now, and I have done quite a lot in my life. Workouts, and I have knee problems, so I can't run as I said earlier. But the rest is fine. So my body is working well, and I feel very well trained also, and I still train throughout my job. Sorry, throughout my job. So I'm still working in this environment like sports. I guess there will be another question later. So I'm pretty active still and pretty healthy. Otherwise,
I got another question. Have you ever tried to ski jump before?
yes, when I was young. So we were like building these little jumps, and then try to ski over it. But we didn't jump longer than 5 meters, maybe. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dude, ask a question. Ask him.
All right. While we're getting the next student, can you kind of talk? I know some of these students aren't as interested in sports, but in history, we talk about the divide of East Germany and West Germany. Can you kind of talk growing up? What was that like, and traveling between East Germany and West Germany?
Yeah, that is very interesting, and I said to Nelly earlier, that is something that I have never thought of. That you would ask that question, and that is really interesting for me because I think people in Mid Europe, they are not aware that that the Americans are so into the history of other countries, and that this is it really pleases me, and it's. Yeah, of course, I'm willing to talk a little bit about that. I grew up in East Germany, and I had a nice childhood, and I was encouraged by my teachers, and you're a teacher too, and you encourage your pupil to do something reasonable in life and to develop well, and I experienced the same. I had very good teachers and parents and surroundings, actually, but I wasn't lacking anything while I was growing up in Eastern Germany. But one of the motivations I was doing sport was, once I wanted to travel out of the East Bloc. You have to understand, we were not able to travel to, back then West Germany. So Germany was split into East and West Germany after the Second World War. And then, one of my motivations was to travel there, where no one else could travel. And of course, I was interested to travel to France, to travel to Italy, beautiful country, which is a beautiful country. Travel to, as I said, West Germany, and then when I was good enough, I could travel there, and it was a fantastic experience because I felt privileged, and I felt since I was ambitious to reach that, and then I accomplished it. I felt really how to say, satisfied, let's say, and later on, it was. First time I went to Austria or Western Germany was in 1987 or 88, I'm not sure. And then the wall came down just 3 years later, and then you know the borders were torn down, and everyone could travel. That was such a nice feeling that suddenly also my parents, my brother, everyone could travel, and the border was open.
Okay. All right. Who's up?
Yeah.
Come on. This is what the Olympics are like. Yes. Yeah. All right, David.
All right, David. Well,
I got one after you.
I got one. You want to go right now?
No, you go.
Cool. I don't even know what I'm gonna ask.
Just ask the
I'm back, Mr. Hoos. Everybody in our class is being lame, so
Hi.
I'm gonna ask you another one. All right. Where was your favorite city that you competed in throughout the Olympics?
Actually, I was only competing in one at one Olympics. That was in '92, Albertville. That was very nice Olympic Games. You're frozen. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, you're good. You can hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Then we're back on track. No, and then I participated in total 7 Olympics. One as an active skier. That was in '92. That was France, Albertville. That was a very nice experience. And but I think the nicest Olympics I have experienced was in Vancouver and Salt Lake City. So Vancouver was 2010. And because Vancouver is such a, how to say, natural, has such a natural environment, and they didn't build very many concrete, buildings and stuff. So they did it on a really, low level. They didn't destroy much of the nature, build everything into the nature, didn't, mess up with nature. And then Salt Lake City, that was in 2002. Then I was working for my old teammates that I was together with, on the team. So I was then on the other side. I was actually in charge of the skis, and that's still the work I'm doing. I'm right now I'm representing the ski wax company, the biggest in the world.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Hoos? My name's Nate. I was just wondering, what did it mean to you, to serve, for your country, for the Olympics and stuff? Like, what kind of stress comes with that, and how'd you deal with that stress?
Yeah, first of all, it's a big honor to represent your country, especially in the Olympics. In my sport, biathlon, you have world championships every year. But Olympics is only all 4 years, and it was a big honor to represent your country, and then also with coming home with some medals. It's also nice. Don't misunderstand me. I didn't take a medal in this Olympics where I participated, but anyway, my teammates did, and the year later, I became world champion. Sorry. But this was, this is then you're member of the national team, and it's still an honor. But being at the Olympics, it's very special.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Hoos. My name's Andrew, and
Hi,
I
Andrew.
just want to know, did you ever have an Olympian you looked up to?
Yeah, very many. Yeah. So was my former coach. He was Olympian. He was Olympic champion. So and he has been my coach when I was at the Olympics, and I looked up to him, and there's many good examples. Especially in East Germany, we had a lot of how to say success with winter sport athletes. In my school class, same age as you are now, we have been a sport class, a mix of cross country, biathlon, and the luge. Maybe you heard of luge. This is when you go down with the sled, and my teammates were very successful. So at the Olympics in '92, it was three of my luge teammates or schoolmates. They were at the Olympics, and myself and another friend from our class. So we have been a very successful class back in the days. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Jason asked a question. Go, Jason.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Jason.
I was wondering what you thought your childhood and adolescence was like growing up in Germany at that time compared to what might have been normal, or maybe with the other part of Germany. Yeah. And what you might have seen after the wall came down.
Yeah, good question. When by the time I was living in East Germany until I was like 20, then this was the normal situation for me. But then, looking back from now to when I was 20, this was the time which is normal for me now. And so comparing that is actually, yeah, there's quite a significant difference. Yeah, but it's more colorful. You have more possibilities. You have more options. You can travel wherever you want. You're free. Before the wall came down, 88, no, 89 it was, to be specific. It was like, when I looked at old movies in November on YouTube, and then I found this, Eastern German life on some YouTube clips. And I was, so psyched to see this because everything looked gray, everything looked not colorful. Everything looked a bit poor, let's say. And yeah, still, I didn't miss anything when I was living in this, in these times. It's probably, when you put a kid in a certain environment and it doesn't see anything else, it's fine, and it can make a good living. Yeah, that's my experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi again.
I was just wondering, was there a moment in the Olympics that you were a part of that was like you'll never forget?
Yes. I will never forget when we marched in the 92 Olympics in Albertville. That was a fantastic moment. And then the first of all, I was a representative, active representative of my country. That meaning that I was going to compete later in that week. And the second great experience was marching out. This was the closing ceremony in Salt Lake Olympics. That was also fantastic. That was where was it? And I think it was in Salt Lake City. Yeah, because the facility or the venue was up in Park City and in Soldier Hollow, and the specific town was Salt Lake. Yes.
And then I was wondering what kind of gun is used for the biathlon.
We shoot with a small barrel, a 5.6 millimeters. So yeah, it is. It's not very loud, when you pull the trigger. Yeah, but still, you can kill someone if you hit him or her on the right spot. But this hopefully will never happen. You're supposed to hit the targets.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, sir. Go ahead, Miles.
Hi.
Hi.
Erzähl mal die Geschichte mit deinem Rodler-Freund, dass du Bremser warst.
Yeah. I can send you the pictures with the guy later, and you can show it. Nelly asked me to tell you a small story. When I quit my career, that was in '94. Yeah, 30 years ago. And then I was a bit bored, and I was serving the army at the time, and it is a way to have the athletes make their living. So in Germany, it is how to say, it's normal that athletes are being employed by authorities, such like customs, border control, customs, army, and I was in the army. And then of course I had to finish my army duty, and that was finished I think in May or something. And then I decided to quit in '94. And then my friend, he used to be a cross country skier. He switched the sports, so he wanted to become a bobsleigh pilot. First of all, he was too skinny, so you need to be a little bit heavy, because when you're more heavy, then you're faster downhill. And then he didn't have a guy or a person that is the breaker. We call it the breaker. You need to break when you're in the finish. And so he asked me if I could be the breaker for him. And then I was actually training with him. He was steering this bobsleigh, and I was braking, or tried to brake. And then one time, I didn't know when I should brake, because you need to be fast when you go downhill. And then I forgot to brake. And then of course, when you forget to brake, then you might drive, or you run into a wall. And then he was jumping back, doing like this. We had helmets on, and then he clapped on my helmet. And then suddenly I was, starting to brake like this. You use your arms and pull up this lever. And then we made it 2 minutes, or no, 2 meters before that wall, to hit the wall. And we were lucky to not hit it. And that was my experience with the bobsleigh, with a different sport. But it is, it's funny. And I still have a connection with my friend. He's now serving, also serving in sports, and he's working as a ski technician, like I did. And the world is very small, and we are actually all or many of us are still connected with sports.
All right, anybody? Go ahead, Mas.
Hello there, Mr. Hoos. I'm Miles, and
Hi, Miles.
my question for you is, what was it like to hear about the destruction of the Berlin Wall?
Yeah, that is also a nice story. We actually used to go to a training camp, using the train, going by train to northern Sweden. You have to imagine, if you look at the map, that is like I think 2,500 kilometers. But we had to cross certain borders. From East Germany, you go north, and then you cross, you go to Denmark, and then you cross Danish border, Swedish border, and then we had this night train. Then we used the train, went up there. Then we went to this. It's kind of mountain huts where we stayed. Then we did our training and stuff, and we always had a political guy with us, who told us what we politically should think. That was normal at the time. And then suddenly, one evening we were looking at we were watching TV, and then suddenly, we couldn't speak Swedish, of course, because we're Germans, and then we saw some pictures. So people were like, knocking or sitting on the Berlin wall, and then knocking there, with some tools. And we were totally, we didn't know what's going on. Then we asked this political guy that was with us, and then he said, yeah, this is nothing special. We should forget about it. And then the next day we saw that again, and then they needed to tell us. But the thing is, when this happened by end of November in 1989, we were not in our country. And but we knew that something was going on, because the people were starting to protest against the government, because they felt that we are basically, or people felt locked up in their country. And people, saw also there the comparison, because it was possible to watch television, West German television, let's say. So and then people started to get a little bit to say dissatisfied, the opposite of dissatisfied. or unsatisfied. And then, you know, they started to protest, and it's still, this is happening in our world, you know, many times in many countries. But you know, it happened in my country, and suddenly, you know, it was a peaceful revolution, and that is very, very important. That there was no fight, there was no gun shooting or anything. It was a peaceful revolution. And then when we came back from this training camp, yeah, still, of course, you know, my parents, like Nelly's grandpa and grandmother, they actually could suddenly go over the border and go shopping. Like, you know, we were living close to the border, actually, to the west border, like 10K. So it was easy for us to just cross the border. But this was a huge how to say, change in our life. Yeah.
All right, thank you for answering the question.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, I think we'll have a few more kids ask questions. I was just interested, you read about the Olympics and people from different cultures and backgrounds getting to know each other. Did you become friends with any athletes from, or even in different sports from different countries?
Yes, many, very many. And that is the nice part. You know, I'm currently at the World Championships in Czechia, biathlon World Championships, and you know, I still every day I see my friends from back in the days that I was competing with. You know, for instance, the head coach of the French team, Steffen Hoos, he's a good friend of mine. He's the head coach of the French team. You know, coaching very many successful athletes. From Austria, I have friends there still, you know, I was competing with. We have a head coach in the German team. He's a Slovenian citizen, so I skied with him back in the day. Just a second. We're like a family, and we still respect each other. And you know, when you are traveling, when you're young, and you get to know very many, how to say, persons from different countries, you also get how to say, you get very tolerant towards different cultures, and you don't point with fingers to, you know, I don't know, to a person that is looking maybe different. That is fantastic, and nobody does this, you know, in my surroundings, actually.
Okay. All right. I think we'll have maybe a few more kids before we're finished. Anybody? David?
I mean, I will.
Oh, later? Okay.
I'm back again. My question is, do you have you ever had like an Olympian that you look up to?
Don't answer that.
Did he? I didn't hear it.
He already say never mind. Say never mind.
Yes,
I
I answered that already. Yes, I have.
I didn't hear you. Okay, I have another question is, what do you think, like, what do you do with your company you work for?
Yeah, that is a good question, and you know, I'm head of department of the racing service in my company. It's called Racing Service. So we are basically serving in different sports. So we are producing equipment like ski wax and ski preparation equipment for alpine, cross country, and you know, skiing, all kinds of skiing. And our company is producing this, and we're the biggest in the world. We are from Norway and Switzerland, and yeah, we are also manufacturing ski poles and ski clothing. So yeah, but we're specialized in ski waxing and ski waxes. And you know, my department is basically developing those products out in the racing field, you know, for regular customers. So this is like, you know, when you're in Formula One, you develop a new tire for, you know, normal cars. It's a bit like that, and yeah, and we are representing our products we're selling those products. We know we're making special products for the racers. And yeah, it is yeah, and of course the big task is to be international. So we are traveling with the World Cup circuit, and we have athletes, you know, for instance, with the ski poles. We have athletes that are using our ski poles, and then of course, you know, we make sure that these ski poles are represented in television and so on. Nicely. So we just had a world champion 2 days ago from Norway using our poles, and yeah, it is, you know, you basically advertise in television, and that, you know, in the normal, how to say, the normal customers buy our products. That's how it works.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello, Mr. Hoos. My name is Braden.
Hi.
See. What I wanted to know is, do you still see remnants of the Cold War since it ended in the 90s?
Yeah, not in the daily life, let's say, you know. Of course, when I was traveling to China in 2020, 1.5 years ago, or basically exactly 2 years ago. Then of course you see, you know, that you know, people are living differently, and they're more like you know, uniform. They, yeah, maybe not live as free as we do, and this I experience. I used to go also to Russia because, you know, there's throughout my career I have been to Russia many times because there's have been races taking place in Russia too, and the Olympics in 1914, Sochi. I was also taking part. I have Russian friends as well, you know, throughout sport, and but yeah, when you travel to these countries, of course, yeah, there's I'm reminded to back in the days, but I think also nowadays these countries are more open, and you know, people are not like that restricted like in the real Cold War times. So, but I think it's yeah, at the moment we don't need to speak about Russia because this is yeah, really difficult.
Thank you.
Can you tell us how the Olympics changed over the years, please?
Yeah, of course, some, you know, I can compare a little bit over the last 35 years, but of course I cannot compare back to 36 when it started in St. Moritz, especially winter sport Olympics. But yeah, I think as I mentioned earlier, you know, my nicest Olympics was Vancouver together with Salt Lake City, simply because Vancouver was, everything was closed. You know, you didn't need to travel far to get to the venues. You have this Olympic village. That means that many nations live together under one roof. Or, you know, you dine together, you go have breakfast together, you meet different cultures, you meet different sports, you meet yeah, different as I said, different cultures, and it is important that the Olympic spirit is kept like that. That still there's Olympic villages where people can meet, you know, from different sports. That the venues are not so far away from each other. That sustainability is important. That is what I liked in Vancouver because of, you know, they didn't put a lot of concrete houses and stuff. They used everything back, you know, back how it was before, and the venues, for instance. And yeah, you don't see much, and I think you shouldn't leave any big footsteps, like, you know, in a negative way. So that is actually what has changed a little bit compared to back in the days. The China Olympics, for instance, which recently has taken place, was crazy. I hope I never see this again. This is a concrete, they built everything from concrete. They will never use the venues again. They built this for billions and billions of dollars. And yeah, it looked fantastic and it looked amazing. But you know, thinking back that no race will ever happen there again. This is what makes me sad. And yeah, that's why this has changed. And I hope the next Olympics, which will take place in Italy, will be different.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to ask kind of a last question. Our other speakers, we've asked them to share a piece or two of life advice you'd give to a high school student. What's a piece of advice that you would give to our high schoolers?
Yeah, I think I I mentioned already, you know, through sport, you can change lives. And I think also to you know, keep your mind open, meeting different cultures, you know, getting your mind out, you stay healthy, you look after your health, you know, try to be active, don't stand still, do something with your life, enjoy nature. That is, you know, that is what I like, and that is what I can give you, you know, that I can advise you. You know, Nelly is also, that's why she wanted to go to the US. She wanted to experience different cultures, different countries. Just be open for others, and don't be, how to say, narrow-minded. Yeah, that is some of my life advice. And as I told you before, I still have so many friends from different countries, and yeah, keep that spirit and be active. Don't be bored. Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough. I'm going to let Nelly kind of close it up here, but this was awesome for us. We've been excited. I know she's been excited for us to talk to you, and this was great. So I'm going to let her close it up, and then we have lunch here in a few minutes. So, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Hast du super gemacht. Danke.
Alles klar. Gut.
Hattest du
Gerne.
Spaß? Hattest du
Was?
Spaß?
Ja, natürlich. Hat mir Spaß gemacht. Absolut. Kannst du
Sehr
sagen,
cool.
dass es mir Spaß gemacht hat und dass ich geehrt bin, das gemacht haben zu dürfen.
Kannst auch selber sagen.
Yeah, Nelly asked me to sum it up. So I felt really honored that was able to speak to you, and that I could share my life experiences a little bit with you, and also give you some advices for your life lying ahead of you. And yeah, I hope Nelly is having a great time. Yeah, so that's my wish, and I hope to see you soon. And we will visit you in June, so maybe Nelly can even show your nice building to us in June. No, it will be in May, right, Nelly?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Alrighty.
Tschüss.
Yep.
Ciao. Tschüss.
How do you close it? Here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The mouse is really small.